the scope is just out of the patient's oral cavity, but still connected to the machine, you imagine, and it is having some dirt, for example, blood-stained saliva on the surface. So you do an important procedure that is called pre-cleaning. Just to clean the outer with a gauze piece to start with, and then throw it away, and then you do 2 or 3 times. Then you have some antiseptic lotion like a Savlon or anything, especially this part, because this is called simple decontamination. This is not a disinfection. Once you have done that, the next important thing is you go and have a basin where you just start sucking. When you start sucking, then all the fluid, at least 200-300 fluid will go in and clean the channel also inside. So outside, inside, gross decontamination, that is step number 1. Step number 2 is you watch what I'm doing it here. Just for this demonstration, I have taken you another scope here. This scope is actually immersed inside. Okay, that is, once you have done that, still the scope is connected, but now connected with a special equipment to do a test called leak test. You may wonder what is leak test. I never done it, but this is the reason why we are doing it here, this particular thing. So leak tester is the one which ensures there is no micro perforation within the scope. For that, what we have done is, see, for example, here we have attached to the side of the scope, here there is a special. Each company has a various ways of doing, and the principle is same. What is the principle? You have a machine which puts the air under pressure. Here the air is supplied by the same air feeder from the machine. When you switch it on, it goes and it insufflates the whole scope. The scope is now like a cycle tire, it's insufflated, and you immerse it inside. And when you put the air, if there is a micro perforation, what you see in the cycle tire or a tube tire, you will see bubbles come. Bubbles should not come. If bubbles are here, that should be an expensive mistake, because if there is a bubbles here, water can go inside, cause all the electronics on the channels, processor can damage, expensive damage. So you should feel, you have to feel, cry for this problem. So bubbles here, tears here, that's what I used to say. So we just put the machine on, it is on now, and look at this, it is now pressurized. But still, I don't see a bubble, good, but don't stop with that. These are the wheels here, you carefully see. These wheels, you just go, rotate the big wheel, rotate the small wheel, so that you stress the lower end such a way, even a small thing, the rubber is stretched, because when you do this way, so whenever you do one stretching on either side, the bubbles might come. So even after turning the wheel, putting into acute tension, there is no extravasation of air, there is no, then air insufflation test, there is no leak. That is good. Then only you should go for the next stage, and that is brush, blushing and brushing. That is, you need to clean inside. So for that, what you need is a brush that is going to clean the inside. So there are 2 sides to the endoscopy. One, of course, I am going to show is the access channel. See, through the access channel, if I go here, it will come out here, and as I retreat, I just take, see, you see what I am doing here. So you have to see in the to and fro movements, like that, and slowly withdraw, so that the whole channel from the tip of the scope to the access channel is cleaned nicely, because that is the area all the blood stained proteinous material is there. And then you take this thing, but still it is not over, because there is another part, that is the umbilical cord, which goes to the equipment, that has to be cleaned. So the superior button, you take it out, through which you have to pass this, and it will reach inside through the umbilical cord. In order to show that only, now we have disconnected the instrument for you to see, because this instrument is going to the mother, that is there the processor, and at that end through the umbilical cord actually it is going. This is equally important. Don't just keep on cleaning only the insertion section. Equally important is the umbilical cord, because it has all the tubes going and to the final destination, to the processor. So you go in there until you see it is the very end. See, you can see it coming out the other end. So that means it is coming okay, then withdraw it, like what I said before, to and fro movement, to and fro movement, to and fro, like that. You keep on cleaning, you take your time. If you hold it here, for example, it will buckle. If you hold it very close, it will be very effective. Without buckling, you do it like this. See, this is the way you have to clean, and you teach your staffs or make them learn this technique from the technical people who are coming from the company from which you bought the scope, so that they know the better, because the longevity of the scope depends upon how good you are cleaning. It should be as new as ever, and also it should be kept once it's dried in a very ventilated cupboard. So all those things are very, very important. Those things only we discussed in the earlier slides in the background. So you just do that way. Then this is brushing. Then again, it is not enough. You have to flush the interior of this to have something like a bladder syringe, both through the access channel and also through this infiltrate. Now once you have done that, wipe the whole thing, then you immerse in the Sidex. So for that we need another tray that I will show you in a minute. So this is actually a Sidex 2.4. You can use Sidex 2.4 or Sidex OPA or paracetic acid. Any of these things, depending upon what you use, the time you have to keep it inside varies. For example, the Sidex what we have here is about 20 minutes you have to patiently wait. If you have too many patients, you have to have many scopes so that you have a circulation of the cases in such a way. If you are paracetic acid, it is about 10 minutes.